2021 season is underway. With 2 races under our belts, we've had our fair share of excitement, beating and banging, and plenty of slipping and sliding. But now, we head to Talladega. Watch out for the big one. It'll eat you up and spit you out. Who will rise? Who will fall? This is ARCA Menards Series Racing on FS1.
Welcome to the General Tire 200 at Talladega. Well, we had heavy rains overnight and into this morning, but today it is beautiful. The track is dry, the sun is shining, and we couldn't be more thrilled. Hello inside, everybody. I'm Jamie Little, joined by a couple of Cup Series winners here at Talladega. Of course, Phil Parsons won here back in 1988, and Ryan Blaney, well, he's won 2 of the last 3 here in the Cup Series. So, Ryan, I'm just going to kick it off with you. What do these 29 drivers in the ARCA Series need to know about making it to the finish line here?
Well, thanks for having me, Fox and Menards. I appreciate it. It'll be a fun day. Nice that the weather is really nice and turned out to be a lovely day. But I think the biggest thing is just making it to the end. You know, that's one of the biggest things that I have in the back of my mind when we come here. I'm sure every team and driver have, is just trying to make it to the last 10 laps. You know, you can get caught up in someone else's mess that you have no part of, and then you're all of a sudden sitting on a wrecker and have no shot at it. So that's the biggest thing. And then if you do make it, you know, to those final laps, is trying to position yourself in the right spot to capitalize on it at the end.
Well, you go back to Daytona the last time we raced at a super speedway race, and, well, there was a lot of question marks. Do you lock bumpers? Do you not? Do you run and work with your teammates? Do you not? Phil, what is the answer these drivers need to keep in mind?
I talked to the ARCA officials this morning, and they said you are allowed to push and bump draft on the straightaways, but not in the turns. But it's so tempting to do, though, because these drivers know that there's speed there. They want to get together. They want to be able to push each other and try to gain that speed. We saw it work well for the guys that won the race, 2 teammates for Venturini Motorsports. And Ryan, I tell you, it's so difficult and challenging because these drivers don't have a lot of experience, and that's why the ARCA officials don't really want them to bump draft. You guys are the best in the world, and sometimes it doesn't always work right.
Yeah, a lot of the times it doesn't work right, especially when you're pushing as hard. And with them not having practice today, there's a handful of people that have never been here before, maybe never experienced the draft or pushing or getting pushed. Honestly, getting pushed is more uncomfortable than doing the pushing, because you're at the mercy of the driver behind you of really hitting you square and kind of getting you in the right direction. If they're kind of turning when they hit you, it's really going to get you out of shape. So there's obviously speed, like you said, in pushing, bumping really hard. It just depends on where you do it, and you have to be really calculated of when you do it, too.
That's a lot to keep in mind, especially because there's 7 drivers in the field who've never been here. And on top of that, this morning, the only practice session was rained out. So let's take a look back at that Daytona race. It was the driver of the number 20. He did a masterful job. His first time there, Corey Heim in the number 20. He just caught up with our Jamie Howe moments ago.
That win at Daytona created a lot of confidence for the 18-year-old rookie Corey Heim. He went on and got a 2nd place and finished in the next race at Phoenix. He's watched Daytona over and over, wanted to apply what he did well here to Talladega. But Corey, practice was rained out this morning. You have never turned a lap here at Talladega. What have you done this morning to prepare for the challenge?
Yeah, you know, there's not a lot you really can do. You know, like you said, I went back last year and kind of watched the race at Talladega, and I watched the race at Daytona as well, and just kind of applying the same mindset as I did going into Daytona and trying to, you know, execute in the same way. It's a little bit different today with everyone. All the really good cars are starting up front, but I think the race will kind of play out in a really similar fashion today. So as long as we have the same mindset, we'll have a good result.
He is a rookie, but he lines up 4th.
Thank you, Jamie, and thank you, Corey. I can't imagine the feeling right now, watching video, knowing you haven't even been on the racetrack yet, Phil.
I was talking to some of the crew chiefs, and they said, we would rather there not be any practice, because all that is an opportunity to tear up some equipment. But I know these drivers would love to have been on the racetrack. But most of them here, if they didn't race at Daytona, they probably tested at Daytona. So it's not going to be exactly 100% new to them, but it's still going to be challenging.
A lot that they are up against today. 29 drivers. They are strapped in and ready to do laps. 76 exactly around this 2.66 mile high banked oval. Let's go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome from Edwards Chevrolet, Lee Edwards.
On behalf of Edwards Chevrolet in Birmingham, Alabama, and our partners at General Tire, drivers, start your engines.
And we will wave that green flag we have been waiting for under these beautiful conditions. It's Talladega Superspeedway on FS1.
We're about to go green flag here at Talladega. That's close quarters racing.
And the cars are officially rolling. We are ready for the General Tire 200 here at Talladega Superspeedway. As we talked about, we weren't supposed to be racing, gentlemen. They were saying 90% chance for rain at this moment. Look at it. Couldn't be more beautiful. 69 degrees. It is perfect. Well, the General Tire Pole Award is based off of points from 2020. So today's pole sitter is 18-year-old Ty Gibbs. And, you know, let's just dial him up. See what's going through his mind as we take a look at today's starting grid, brought to you by General Tire.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, Ty Gibbs, Phil, Jamie, and Ryan up in the box booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
We're just out here to watch you. Last time we talked to you at Daytona, you had a great top 5 finisher, but man, have you been on fire since with your first Xfinity win, some other great runs, another ARCA Menards win at Phoenix. What did you learn back in Daytona, Ty, that's going to take you to victory lane today?
Yeah, I learned a couple of things. Probably the biggest thing is I can hold it wide open in speedways and probably need to learn patience a little bit more. Speedways have helped me out, but I'm very glad to be here. Can't thank everybody enough.
All right, buddy. Looking for you to do a good job. Good luck.
Thanks.
Ty Gibbs, that's a name that you better remember. Because I'll tell you, I thought he was amazing in the ARCA Menards series and what he's been able to do here. He made his Xfinity debut at the Daytona Road Course and drove it to victory lane. Finished second and then finished fourth in his other 2 outings. So certainly somebody to watch here and in the future.
I think he had 1 road course race on his resume, and that was the ARCA race at Daytona last year. Unbelievable job.
Well, today's Rookie Spotlight is brought to you by Bounty, and we have a lot of rookies in the field, but today we're focusing on the number 2 of Nick Sanchez. He's part of NASCAR's Drive for Diversity program. He's running full-time this year, going for the championship, and with more on him, here's Kate Osborne.
Jamie, Nick Sanchez has been getting schooled on resilience since the start of the season, crashing out at both Daytona and Phoenix. Phoenix being such a hard hit, it actually broke the steering wheel, and it was a throwaway engine and car. I talked to him earlier today, and he told me that he was taking an introspective look before he came to his first Talladega. He's been on the sim. He's been asking more questions than ever, and he's also been watching a whole lot of onboards to get that first-person perspective. He also feels extremely confident in the car beneath him, as it was one of the 3 cars Rev Racing bought from Brett Holmes Racing at the end of last season, and feels comfortable with its data and raceability here at Talladega.
Thank you, Kate. Certainly a driver to keep our eye on. That was a big hit for him at Phoenix.
Sure was.
Well, that's a rough start to the year. You know, you have 2 races under your belt and you don't get to finish either of them, you know, so that's hard to get it rolling and get your confidence back, but there's no better place like today really to get that back at.
Yeah, when you know you only have 3 cars and now 1 is back in the woods somewhere gone, you only have 2 to go, you want to finish this race today. Well, let's take a look at the ARCA Menards Series points after 2 races. On top there, the 20 of Corey Heim. Only 3 races last year. Now he's full-time this year, and he already kicked off the season with the win at Daytona. You see Ty Gibbs in 2nd there. And in 10th, Brett Holmes, the local boy, in the number 23. Won the 2020 championship, and with more on him, here's Jamie Howe.
Jamie, that local boy, Brett Holmes, he got a little bit of local love when the staff here at Talladega put a billboard up along I-20 westbound to congratulate him for that championship. You can't miss it as you head into the racetrack. That's a pretty cool thing for a young driver. But for him, for 2021, he's not running for the points championship anymore. He's going to run a partial season in trucks. He's going to run a partial season here in ARCA Menards Series. He's only looking for race wins. He said they proved everything they needed to do as a team by winning the championship. Right now, he wants to prove himself as a driver.
Thank you, Jamie. Yes, doing great things as a driver, but as an owner as well. As she mentioned, they've branched out to the truck series this year, doing part-time. Had a top 10 run last week at Richmond. Very impressive what Brett Holmes has been doing.
Yeah, sharing that truck with Sam Mayer. Sam got that top 10 at Richmond.
Let's check in with Gracie Trotter's radio. We'll get back to that, but Gracie Trotter, another one we want to keep an eye on. She hasn't had the best kickoff to the season, was caught up in a wreck at Daytona, and then I don't even think she took the green flag at Phoenix.
Yeah, lap number 1 got caught up in an incident. It's really unfortunate, as Ryan was talking about, and the races at the start of the season are so sporadic. You just don't have that many races, but once we get racing every week, then you can put that, if you have a bad race, put it behind you, because you know you have another one next week.
Yes.
And that's the benefit, you know, of the Cup schedule. You race so much, you know, that if you have a bad week, all right, well, we have 6 days. We can forget about it. We'll race the 6 days, try to do better. But yeah, ARCA, you know, especially the beginning of the year, like you said, it's so spaced out. You know, you have a bad run, you're sitting around for over a month, trying to figure out what the heck happened and just wanting to get behind the wheel again. So hopefully, you know, it starts going better for everybody who's had troubles, and that will get better as you get racing week to week.
Gracie Trotter drives for Venturini Motorsports. The team was giving her a pep talk, so hopefully that helps her. Well, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, head over to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter page at ARCA_racing to vote on what moment you think was today's sweetest move of the race, presented by Reese's. And, you know, if history's any indication, we're going to have quite a few sweet moves today.
Yeah, there will be. Maybe the first one might be Ty Gibbs choosing the outside as we take a look at our General Tire race analysis. 76 laps, a little bit over 200 miles. The first race here was back in 1969, and I was here, by the way, for that race. My brother raced in that race, and we're going to have a competition caution somewhere around lap 38 or on lap 38.
And also, we were just told a competition caution lap 10 because of the heavy rains that came through. So, Ryan, what does a competition caution do for you guys as drivers?
Yeah, it really is just, it's a nice little break. You know, everyone can come in, and they always do a good job of putting comp cautions after heavy rain. You know, the track was green before, but, you know, after a rain like that, it kind of gives everyone a chance to reset a little bit, make sure your car's right, especially with no practice, right? You want one early, just to make sure you got your travels right and things like that. So that thing, you know, here early at lap 10, that's really going to help teams out, crew chiefs out. I'll be surprised if anyone comes and gets tires, but it'll really be a good chance to check over your car.
Yeah, some of the guys, some of the crew chiefs, Ryan, were telling me that they're not even planning on changing tires unless they run through debris from an accident or slide the tires coming to pit road.
That's a good thing about Talladega. It's so smooth. You know, you barely see tire wear. Even our race, you know, our 500-mile race, you'll see us take 4 tires maybe twice. You know, other than that, it's just gas or rights. Because your car usually drives pretty good, and it just doesn't wear the tires out, so that's not really anything you need to be worried about.
And like you said, it's an option. You can pit if you wish, or you could stay on the racetrack. Pace car is off. Remember, this is a 2.66-mile oval. One of my favorite racetracks, I must say.
Mine too.
I'm a decent
if
fan.
I won here, if I won here too, I'd be a huge fan. All lined up, 29 drivers ready to go. Ty Gibbs leads them to the green. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing at Talladega.
And like you said, Phil, I was surprised Ty Gibbs took the top. Maybe they kind of worked out a little bit of a deal. You know, he and Brett Holmes to kind of just get down a line and get single file. So you see that happen every now and then, and it seems to have worked out to their favor.
Those are the two cars that worked together best at Daytona in February, so I think that probably was some collusion there to try to do that.
See Gracie Trotter in the 25 coming up on the outside. She has her teammate Drew Dollar behind her. Last year's winner, Drew Dollar, by the way.
Another Venturini car, Corey Heim, in that group as well.
You can see everyone's really anxious to get going today. People are jumping out of line, trying to go 3 wide. As you see the 2 car of Nick Sanchez trying to jump to the top here. Really trying to make that line go by himself. That might work for a little bit, but if he might get some help here by the 35.
Well, Brett Holmes in the 23. It's interesting. He's in a Chevrolet. You have Ty Gibbs in a Toyota, but the two, as you said, Phil, they like working together. They actually talked on the phone this week, made a plan. Let's stick together. Ryan, it's not always about the same OEM alliance, right? The same manufacturer. You want to run with who you know works well and has a fast car.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, we have tons of meetings leading up to speedways, you know, with your OEM partners, you know, us with Ford, we work really well. Obviously, our group, the Wood Brothers, Stewart Haas, front row, you know, we try to work the best we can to have a plan, you know, whether it's all of us pitting together, you look for each other throughout the race. But really, at the end of the day, you know, it comes to the end of the race, you might have to go with another manufacturer to try to make sure you win. But all day, you really try to work, you know, with whether you're a Ford, Toyota, Chevy, you try to work with, you know, the same people that you know. Because you usually, hopefully, you trust them because you're like, well, hopefully he's glued to my bumper here because we're the same manufacturer. We have the same blue oval. But sometimes it doesn't work out, but we always try to make that plan.
Is this a 76-lap race, or are these guys racing for that 10-lap competition caution? Because they are 3 wide already.
Well, what did we say? It's been 7 weeks since they last raced. They've been watching it rain. They had practice scheduled this morning, and obviously that got washed away. So they've had nothing but time to think and watch. Kate Osborne.
Well, as you guys were talking, the trust is the most important thing between 2 cars who are not actual teammates, if you will. I was talking to Ty earlier today, and I said, do you trust Brett? And he said, we are both hungry to win. We both want this as bad as the other. We are teammates in that sense.
Smoke from the 25.
Gracie Trotter looks like she got doored a little bit there. You see the donut right at the 2.
I think that there was definitely contact. Do you think that was some tire rub? Let's take a look back at what happened to Trotter.
We talked about them being 3 wide. That's her on the outside, leading the group on the outside.
Something flew off the right side of that car.
Yeah, to me that was you know, the 11 Richard Garvey and the 63 of Dave Mader. It looked like the 63 was going down a side draft a little bit and just caught him in the right rear. And Gracie, unfortunately, is just that's a bystander right there that just got caught up in someone else's mess.
Tough break for Gracie Trotter early on after just 4 laps. We have plenty more racing action from Talladega Superspeedway after this. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. By Sioux Chief, America's manufacturer of plumbing, drainage, and support products. And by Richmond Water Heaters, the water heater experts. Available at Menards. And we have a new leader, Corey Heim in the 20. We've actually had a couple of lead changes. Let's take a look back at what happened.
So Ty Gibbs and the 23. Brett Holmes worked so well together from the start of the race. And Brett, I think since those Venturini cars lining up on the outside, he said, well, let me go get some of that push. And he was able to use the Venturini cars to push him by Ty Gibbs for that first lead change.
Yeah, that's really good, you know, for Holmes to notice that. And then we had a really nice lead change, a nice side draft by Corey Heim to Holmes, and was able to really get around him by himself. So that was a masterful little bit of a run, pulling out, dump air on the right rear, and get the lead. So I'll be curious to see how Ty Gibbs handles it now. We're about to have a comp caution here within the next lap, or within this lap. But I was curious, he didn't really move up and try to block that. So maybe he's wanting to know how his car is, how it sucks up to the car in front of him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to figure that out.
That was the lap car, the 48 of Brad Smith, that they had to work around. And a push to the outside by Brett Holmes. He's got his partner, the 18 of Ty Gibbs, trying to keep up, but not so much. There's more energy on that inside line.
And I love that, like Ryan, I would love these guys are trying things out, see what works and what doesn't work. We saw that obviously Brett Holmes and Ty Gibbs, just those 2 cars was not enough to get them both by our leader. So they will put that in the memory bank and remember that they're going to need maybe a little bit more help.
Yeah, and Brett Holmes did a really good job. You saw him kind of lay back in the middle of 1 and 2. and get Ty Gibbs right close to his bumper. He wasn't pushing him, but it let him get enough of a run to really pull out and make that move by himself. That was a really good job of realizing a gap, and he was just playing around right there with, okay, how far do I have to lay back to where I can clear and get the lead? He'll use that later.
Nice first 10 laps of 76. The competition caution is out. They will decide if they want to pit or keep it on the racetrack for position. We'll be back for the green flag once again in a moment.
My first thought of Talladega is crapshoot.
I think speed is probably the first thing that comes to my mind. The second thing is the draft.
Have to be there on the last lap, have to be patient. You're not going to win it on lap one. Got to put yourself in position for the final lap to have a chance for it.
And I think a key to being successful at Talladega is being able to be patient and be there at the end. There's been some points where I've been kind of not patient on super speedway races. We have a love-hate relationship with restrictor plate racing.
You don't control your own destiny. You have to have help out there. You have to have people that work with you, and things happen so fast. And a split second, your day can be shot. So
It seems like super speedway racing, either people love it or hate it. You know, just so much stuff can happen, but it's a lot of fun. It's some of my favorite kind of racing. We've won at Talladega before in the ARCA series, and hopefully we can do it again this weekend with that.
Talladega and Daytona are like a beast of their own. They're like two really, really big races. You know what you're getting yourself into, and you realize that you're at the mercy of a lot of other cars.
And that's our General Tire driver profile. Thad Moffitt, one of the best personalities in the field, having a good run so far. Miss Jamie Howe.
And two things that stood out to me in that piece was the words patience and then working together. Patience was something Thad was using early on. He started this race in 5th, and that allowed him to be a little more patient, but we see him back now in the 8th position, so he's going to have to continue that to move forward again. But then you come back to working together. He doesn't have a teammate here this weekend. It is the first time in his ARCA career he's come to a super speedway and not had a teammate. We saw him in the opening laps run up in the 3rd position working with Ty Gibbs and Brett Holmes, and that's what they talked about this morning. He's looking to get back up with those guys, the 3 of them together. He said if we're going to beat the 3 Venturini cars, any one of us, the 3 of us are going to have to do it.
Not the place you don't want to have a teammate, right? Of all racetracks to go to, and Thad Moffitt right now running 8th. So let's take a look back. Competition caution came out. All of our leaders decided to stay out. So we will rack them up and come back and drop the green flag. You're watching the ARCA Menards series on FS1. The Fox Bet Super 6 app is giving you a chance to win Clint's brand new Camping World RV and $25,000. Just download the app and pick 6 outcomes about Stage 2 during the Geico 500 tomorrow for your shot to win. It's free to play. Don't miss out and play now. And yes, if you could take Clint's money, I'm all for it. And now you're throwing in a Camping World RV. That's pretty sweet.
He gives money away every week.
No kidding. He joins our team.
How do I get in on this deal? I would love to take Clint's camper and his money.
No kidding. Let's take a look at our onboard cameras for today. This is the General Tire onboard with Drew Dollar in the 15.
There's a Richmond water heaters on board for Greg Van Alsten in a 35 car.
Tony Breitinger, she has the Huda Beauty onboard camera.
And the Bounty onboard camera for Nick Sanchez. Right now, Nick running in the 3rd spot.
Really good opening to this race for Nick Sanchez.
Those are always cool camera angles to me when I see them, because you get down the end of the race and you show that, you'll see the driver keep looking up in his mirror, his or her mirror, and it's really neat for the fans to see.
Let's eavesdrop on the number 2, Nick Sanchez's radio. pretty quiet there on that radio. I don't know about you, Ryan, but I think at a place like this, I want to hear my spotter, right?
Yeah, I would check to see if it's on, number one, or they're on the right channel, because that was a little alarming. You figure, you know, especially the restart, your spotter's supposed to tell you what push is coming. You know, if there's someone who's outside, which there is. That was a little surprising, but hopefully there's not something too catastrophic going on there.
I love hearing the spotter chatter, though, by the way, and there is a lot of it typically.
Especially in a place like Daytona or Talladega, as Ryan said, not only is the driver looking in the mirror at least half the time, the spotter's talking all the way around, especially if you're back in the middle of the pack somewhere.
Yeah, it's not uncommon, you know, for, you know, Josh Williams, my spotter, he'll talk for 2 laps straight, you know, never take his finger off the mic, because there's so much stuff going on, especially at the end of the races. He's telling me, you know, okay, the gap behind me, and he's also telling me, let's say I'm third in line and I'm pushing second, he's telling me the gap to the leader, because you don't want to push the second place car, you know, into the leader hard and cause a big wreck. So there's all these things going on, and he's talking about momentum with different lanes. So here, more than anywhere, here in Daytona, you'll have the spotters talking so much, and I prefer a lot of information here. You know, you want to have over information than too much or too little information as compared to other tracks.
Quite a few of these drivers, especially up front, they have Cup Series spotters, and certainly worth the investment. Let's get more on our leader, Brett Holmes. Here's Kate.
Well, the ARCA Menards series is all about learning, even for that former champ, Brett Holmes. Brett Holmes' spotter, Derek Nealon, as you guys are saying, a lot of chatter. He said, keep in mind everything that I am telling you and put that into play. It's early in the race now, but later we're going to have to act quick. Brett Holmes saying, I'm only hearing static. What's going on? So that radio communication is tough. The response back to him is keep working on it for the next 17 laps. Stay with me. We've got you. So that team communication, like the three of you are talking about, is extremely important.
Well, good news for him is mirrors are working well. He's got his wingman behind him and nobody ahead of him.
Nick Sanchez has really done a nice job to fall in that third spot there. Derek Lancaster, the 29 car, in fourth. Jack Wood driving for GMS right now in that 21 car, running fifth.
You talk about Brett Holmes leading now, and I had a good conversation with him at Richmond about this season in the ARCA Menards series, and he said, look, we're not running full time. We're there for one reason, and that's to win. Last year they won the championship. They only had one win. He feels like there's unfinished business. So here it's all about dominating and winning these races, and he's doing a heck of a job right now.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. You know, we've seen him obviously lead a good amount of laps already today, but he's taken the lead by a couple really good moves. So I'm going to be looking at Brett Holmes towards the end of this race if he can keep himself in a good spot, because he's done a good job of really feeling the draft, and his car looks really quick too, whether it's out front or, you know, a few cars back in the pack.
And you can see how consistent he has been over his career. 82 career starts, 64 top 10 finishes.
Nick Sanchez, very impressive. Obviously, he got off to a bad start at Daytona, but now he's showing what he's capable of. And, you know, he doesn't get any sim time at all. He told us this week he does iRacing to try to stay sharp and tries to talk to the other teams. Brett Holmes Racing, because that's the car he's driving. They bought from that team. Doing a really nice job now. Jamie, what do you have?
Another thing Nick said coming into the race was that he's put a lot more pressure on himself. He said, you can see the speed in the car. You saw it at Daytona. You saw it at Phoenix. Now he feels like that responsibility is on his shoulders as the driver, just to capitalize on it. He has to make smart decisions. I was just listening in on the radio, his spotter, Tyler Green, telling him, you've got to defend that bottom side a little bit. You're doing pretty good, but don't let anybody sneak by you.
Good insight there. It's interesting, you look at the running order right now, and I'm looking at Greg Van Alstveld in the 35. He's kind of in that hornet's nest of really good cars, full-time drivers. Here, this guy is just living the dream. He works and lives in Indiana, and he's out here racing for a dream.
And I think right now I like the way he's doing it. That double yellow line is his friend. He's staying right close to that double yellow line. If somebody can pass him on the outside, so be it. But right, I'm going to stick with my guys on the inside line right here.
You see the top starting to come back too. You saw it kind of fade. There was only a couple cars in it. And then, you know, some people decided to jump out. You know, Drew Dollar, the 20, and then that brings cars with it, as we see a nice little bump draft here, going through some water. And that's important, is what I was talking about before. You see the 35 get really close. to the car in front of him. And if you're the 36 spotter, you have to let him know that, hey, you're one car back, half car back. He's on him now, because you can't just keep shoving him through, because you're going to cause a big wreck. So it seemed like he let him go as soon as he got to that car, which was a really good job by both driver and spotter.
There's that bump drafting we're talking about, and you can see those guys making gains. The 15 of Drew Dollar and Corey Heim hooked up on the outside, and look how far that pushed the 15 of Drew Dollar out there when Corey Heim gave him that bump.
Power and numbers, no doubt.
And Holmes did a good job of blocking it. You saw him move up there and take that run away, and pushed him back away, and then let the bottom line reform. As the top gets another run here, those Venturini cars look really fast right now. They seem, that gives you that shape right there.
I thought he got loose getting in turn 1 early the lap before, too. It looked like he got loose there as well.
And that tri-oval, everyone thinks it's pretty hairy going through there. Your car gets really light, especially if you look really close on the bottom lane. There's a big seam at the top of it, and if you straddle that seam, your car really gets out of balance. As you see Drew Dollar take the lead right here from the top, and those guys are really fast right now. I like the look of those Venturini cars.
And Drew Dollar back part-time this year. Won this race a year ago, a moment he'll never forget. He dominated this race, Phil.
He had a top 10 finish, too, in his truck debut at Daytona driving for KBM. Those guys on the outside were really doing some serious side drafting, and it really worked out for him.
So the side draft, we all talk about it, and it's not speeding your car up, it's just slowing the other car down. There's so much air flowing over these cars and under them, but most of the air goes over top. So when we talk about side drafting, as you watch the 15, what he's going to do, he's going to get right down on the right rear quarter panel, and he's going to literally dump air on that big spoiler of the 23 car, and that just pulls him back. It slows him down when you have so much more drag, and you see everybody do that at these speedways so much, even on the 1.5 miles, because it just gives you a little bit of an advantage, and it checks that lane up enough for you guys to keep your run going.
Corey Heim drops to the bottom. His teammate Drew Dollar in front of him. Drew Dollar continues to lead. It's great to see fans back at the racetrack enjoying a little ARCA Menards action. Welcome back to the General Tire 200 at Talladega. You're watching it all on FS1. The day is just getting more and more beautiful. Well, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, head over to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter page at ARCA_racing to vote on what moment you think was today's sweet move of the race, presented by Reese's. I think maybe we've had one or two so far. Let's check in and listen to Brett Holmes' radio, the 23 team.
Stay low, outside bumper, up in his door, up in his door, up in his door, come up to him, come up to him, come up to him, listen to me. Back down now, back down. Deep breath here, man, settle down, don't need to scream.
So that's a great example of how quick, that was when he got past for the lead, and that's a great example of how quick things happen, and how you have to trust your spotter they can see a lot better than we can behind the wheel. They're up top. They can really see these runs forming, and they know what they're talking about. Spotters, with enough experience, they know what they're talking about. So what he was really trying to say was either move up or put it on his door of slowing him down a little bit to try to even out the lanes. And then he said, listen to me. So I don't think he was doing what the spotter was telling him to do. But that just comes with time, and building trust with the spotter. That's so huge because things happen so fast here. You don't have time to think. You have to make a decision. And if your spotter says something, you have to trust them, and you have to go with what they're saying.
I like how spotters have to sometimes become therapists, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like breathe, talk you through it. I mean, different drivers, they all want something different, but some are certainly therapists as well.
Well, sometimes spotters have to have therapy too. After the drivers, like Ryan, hollers at Josh Williams.
Yeah, ask Josh. I'm sure he'll tell you all about his therapy sessions.
It's all team effort. Let's check in with Jamie Howe real quick.
One of the things Drew Dollar said on the radio to his crew chief, Billy Venturini, was, this is like real racing out here. I don't mean like just settle in racing. This is real racing. The effect it's having on the car is that it feels like a little bit of a handful. He said it's a little bit darty at entry and at exit. So as they make the pit stop in just a few laps, look for them to make a couple of setup changes.
Thank you, Jamie. And no, Gracie Trotter, who had that incident early on, she is in the free pass position right now, running a 27.
Just for a few more seconds, though, because Con Nicolopoulos is right in front of our leaders, and he will go a lap down just on this lap. So it's going to be another tough break for Gracie.
Derek Lancaster having a really good run, Kate Osborne.
He absolutely is, and this is one of those tracks that he must feel extremely comfortable, though his background has been in short track racing. He's actually run in Talladega one time where he got a 6th in 2014, but he's also had 5 races at Daytona with his best finish of a 6 as well. There isn't a lot of chatter on that radio right now, so that might be his focus running, but either way, Derek Lancaster making a great showing here at Talladega.
Looked like Brett Holmes and Ty Gibbs lined up on the outside to see if they could make any ground up on those Venturini cars. They were not able to, even though Jack Wood jumped up there in the Nick Sanchez, the 2 car, looked like they were not able to make any ground up, so they pulled back in line.
Well, we're 31 laps into a 76-lap race here, and this is the first time really we've seen these guys nose to tail. We've really seen them 2 by 2 throughout.
Yeah, and, you know, the top 5 have kind of broken away. The second group hasn't really been able to get organized. They've been too wide and also trying to go around some lap cars, and that makes it tough, you know, and they might be able to kind of pull up on that lead group, but the lead group's been very disciplined on just, okay, only 31 laps in, let's ride around. We're going to get a comp caution here in a handful of laps, and we can come in and work on the car. So you kind of see this in the ARCA Menards series a little bit of you have a group that's very disciplined, and then the other one, the kind of behind group, can really get greedy and try to race, and they lose. But that draft, I think, will suck these guys right back up here.
Running back there in 11th in the 28 is Kyle Sieg, the younger brother to Ryan Sieg that we see run every weekend in the Xfinity Series. He's done a really nice job quietly getting it done. He's finished 5th and 4th in the first 2 races of the season.
Yeah, I was talking to Kyle and Ryan's dad, Rob, the other day, and I said, what's your schedule for Kyle? He said, well, probably we will run the ARCA races when we're there. We probably won't go to many standalone ARCA races, but when the Xfinity group is there, like Ryan will run later this afternoon, he said, we'll run Kyle in those races, and he really has been doing a nice job for sure.
Up there in the top 10 now. Tucker, Georgia, not too far away from here.
Gosh, is he 15? Is he old enough to run at Talladega? That picture looked like he was.
He's at least 18.
Yeah. He looked young in that picture.
Well, we have 18-year-olds all the way up to, what, 72 years old?
I think Benny Chastain's 78.
78.
Yes.
That's what I love about the ARCA Menards series. You've got just differing agendas. You know, people out there just racing because they love it. Others who are learning the ropes so they can move up the ladder in the NASCAR series, trucks, Xfinity, Cup. And we have lap traffic, guys.
You know, and I think that's going to draw that second pack in. You know, when the cars get too wide, it punches a huge hole in the air, a bigger hole, obviously, than if you're single file, as you see that second group kind of start to gain on them. That's all it takes. You know, we run into it on the Cup side of green flag stops. Usually you get spread out, but then you get to another group that you have to run too wide with, and it brings a third group all the way back into you. So it can be frustrating, but they did a good job of navigating the traffic and really being disciplined on that.
Yeah, the 97 of Jason Kitzmiller was the guy leading that second pack, and now he's within about 3/4 of a second. You can see him lined up right there. He's an interesting guy, has a construction company or several construction companies with over 250 employees, but he said that's what he has to do so he can make sure he can pay to race. You do your day job so you can have fun on the weekends.
That's right.
Yeah, and Kitzmiller thought it was funny. He told us this week that it's when he gets in the race car and straps in, that's like his serenity. That's when it's calm, because his life is not calm having 250 plus employees. Woo, we're getting close.
Brett Holmes wants to go.
Yes, he does. Getting impatient there. Drew Dollar leading him. Corey Heim, Brett Holmes, and Ty Gibbs, top 4 right now.
Yeah, some of the crew chiefs told me that if they would have got a caution somewhere around lap 30, maybe even lap 28, that they would have stopped then, and that would have been their only stop. They would not even have come in during the competition caution. But now I think we've gone long enough. Even if the caution were to come out right now, I think the ARCA officials would deem this the competition caution that they were going to put out on lap 38 or around 38. So I think everyone's going to come to pit road when we get that competition caution, and then we'll be done pitting unless somebody has some issues.
About 3 laps away right now from when the competition caution should fall. And once again, it's modified live pit stops over here, Ryan. A little bit of pressure off these teams, and it's cost saving, obviously, Phil. And you know, it's good to see these guys when they stop, they take their time. Everybody comes in and they leave the way that they came in. There's no gaining positions on pit road here.
Yeah, certainly a cost saving.
You can right here. 97, then 46, then a little hole. Just keep digging. Do not lift. Do not lift.
My spotter used to never have to tell me never to lift. Might have to say back off a little bit, never not lift.
Right.
That's 21-year-old Tony Breidinger, the Huda Beauty on board. She comes from the USAC world. Her dad owns a team. She's been racing for many years and quite accomplished.
Yeah, if she can stay in that position, I think she is right now in the free pass position. The car ahead of her, Michael Harper, is about 10-15 seconds ahead of the leader. So if she can maintain that position, she will get the free pass. As we see Ty Gibbs doing some serious side drafting on Drew Dollar.
Yeah, that was hard. Ty Gibbs and the 23 must have really got hooked up there because it shoved the 23 way out front. So I think you've seen that happen a couple times as Drew Dollar comes back. That's the bad thing about what happened with Brett Holmes is, okay, yeah, you get a great run, you get a good push, and now you're in the lead, but you're almost too far out.
Yeah, too good a push. Got too good a push.
You know, everyone's going to be coming by you on both sides, so there's kind of a double-edged sword on that deal.
Let's take a look.
So I did this earlier. So he laid back to the 18, gets a really good bump, really good run coming towards the top 2, and just coming so much faster and just pulls out of line and takes it. But like I said, it was almost too good of a run because he couldn't settle back in. Yeah, he got the lead, but then it kind of sucked Ty Gibbs off of him. You see him really get separated there, and he was able to, and he got driven back by.
Yeah, if Ty would have been able to clear Drew Dollar, then those 2 cars would have been able to take first and second, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
Nick Sanchez, our Bounty Rookie Spotlight on board camera, giving us a great shot of the 18 and Ty Gibbs, who's still, by the way, stuck on the outside.
Going through the tri-oval, like Ryan said, the tri-oval is not a straightaway. It's far from it because it's not banked nearly as much as the turns here.
And you heard him playing with the throttle there, really having to lift. And that's what happens. You're not to the floor wide open the whole time. When you get in a pack like that, yeah, the leader is obviously, or if you're by yourself, but if you have someone on the top or whatever side drafting, it's almost like a slinky effect to where you close up and then you have to kind of check up and then it kind of spreads back apart. That's what happens when side drafting goes on. So it's not just to the wood running wide open the whole time if you're in the pack. You have to play with the throttle or brake a little bit when you get the outside lane. Really side drafting as we got our second comp caution.
Now they will have time option to pit if they would like to. Let's take a look back at that side draft action you were speaking of, Ryan.
Yeah, there's Thad Moffitt, the 46 car. You see them losing a little bit of ground to Nick Sanchez. So Ty is side drafting, as Ryan was mentioning. He's trying to pull that 46 car back a little bit.
Yeah, and so very interesting. If you look at the rear left side bumper, you see a little fin. There's a little piece of plexiglass right there. That's only on the left side. That's not on the right side. So side drafting actually works better on the right side of these cars because that fin will kind of block the air a little bit, and so you'll see guys on the top really side draft harder, and it pulls the cars off a little bit more.
Great point. Pit road will be open. We'll be back. You're watching the ARCA Menards series. Welcome back to the General Tire 200 at Talladega on FS1. Gotta love that drone shot. Let's take a look now at the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. We are already at the midway point. Started off, guys, with the 25 and 11 Richard Garvey, Gracie Trotter getting together.
They brought Gracie Trotter to pit road, lost a lap, has not been able to get that lap back yet.
Yeah, and then we see the 20 really put a great side draft on. Brett Holmes to get the lead. He and Drew Dollar and the Venturini cars have been working really well together. And as Drew Dollar's been leading the better part of this race, like I said, just Venturini teammates. We talk about teammates working together, and they've been doing a good job of it today.
Drew Dollar led 18 laps so far today. There it is. Cars on the lead lap, 27. We've had 5 different leaders and 6 different lead changes. Let's go down to pit road. Here's Jamie Howe.
And with Drew Dollar on that pit stop, they did not take any tires. He said, I'm going to leave it up to you guys, but I'm really comfortable with what we have. So they decided just to fuel it and put a little bit of tape on it. The big question was whether or not he ran over some debris that was out on the racetrack. He said they did not. It seemed like it was just a plastic bag, but everything was fine. And he is happy with the car that he has now for the second half of the race. I'm going to move on to the number 23 machine of Brett Holmes. The communication on the radio for him, very similar. He's very happy with the car that he has. The issue was that they had some static with the spotter, so he wasn't able to hear him as well as he would have liked. So on that pit stop under caution, they decided to recheck his helmet, make sure everything was plugged in. They told him, you're going to have to be more aggressive on the side draft. We're the best we can be when we are leading. You've got to get out there. Kate?
Yeah, Corey Hyman's spotter Lloyd Garner is very chatty, telling him to keep connected to that 15 teammate. It was fuel only. They also mentioned to not slide the tires as that pit stall is still quite a bit wet. Moving on to the number 18, who coming into that yellow dropped down quite a bit. I was asking Shane Huff, or Mark McFarland what was going on. He said, we're trying to stay with that 23. He said we got a little shafted there, and the theory was there, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out for that 18 car. It was 4 tires fuel, and he did say Ty is very happy with that machine. Jamie?
Thank you, Kate. Interesting. Different strategies here. Tires aren't a big deal, but we'll see if perhaps they will help somewhat. We'll be back. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by General Tires. Anywhere is possible. By Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. And by Hers. Hers Potato Chips. Break out the Hers. And welcome back. A lot of fans enjoying the sunshine. Some good racing action here. The first of 3 races you'll see this weekend. The NASCAR Xfinity Series race is coming up after us, so be sure to watch that as well. Our leader, Drew Dollar, has led 20 laps so far today, last year's winner here. Well, what do you guys think so far, Phil? I'll start with you.
I think the Venturini cars are really working well together. We know that Brett Holmes and Ty Gibbs are trying to. They might need a little bit more help. It looks like those Venturini cars are really strong, and those guys work together well at Daytona. Remember, they finished 1-2 at Daytona, so I think those are the cars to watch out for.
Well, don't miss the return of former heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz as he takes on rugged veteran Chris Arreola, plus a stacked card of Mexican firepower. It all goes down next Saturday live on pay-per-view. All right, I know we had a little break. I had to get some Reese's Pieces. I love those things. We had them up here in the booth. Reese's, you know, they're on board for this series. So they said we will always have Reese's in the booth, Ryan.
Yeah, obviously Reese's is big in Menards with the Menards, ARCA Menards series. I'm waiting for them to be on our hood for a couple races. That's kind of how we do things at Menards. Different partners in the store, take turns on our hood. Whether it's, I've seen Richmond today, things like that. So
you just want the
Reese's.
candy. You just want the candy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Carl looked cool too. But yeah, I want the candy at the end of the day. So
seriously, you could get everything at Menards. You can get your favorite candy there. You can get stuff for your dog. You want to build a shed, which you're doing, right, Ryan? You can get your lumber there.
Yeah, that's what I'm currently doing. And as the weather's getting nicer, obviously, it's getting better for everyone to go outside. I just wish I was closer to a Menards. That's the only thing. So the things I have to order from there, it's still great. But I'm just a pleasure to be with Menards. Cool to be up here in the booth for this race. I've ran a few times in the ARCA series, and it's great that Menards is been a part of racing for a long time, in different series, and it's awesome that they're the title sponsor of this awesome series, and for letting me come up and call this race today as we come to the restart.
Well, Ryan, you never won a race in ARCA, but I don't think you ever finished worse than 6th.
Yeah, that still irks me. I'm like 0 for 7. It should be like 6 for 7, but we don't want to talk about that.
Drew Dollar on the outside. Green flag is in the air.
Maybe we saw them do the teammate deal, right, to where they that pretty much when the leader chooses the top, second place will go to the bottom, and you make an arrangement and say, hey, I will let you see off the bottom if I start on top and you let me in. You know, that way we have cars 1, 2, and we're already lined up and ready to go. So you'll see that a lot, especially with teammates, you know, sometimes with the same manufacturer, just because the bottom lane seems to be really strong mostly on the restarts for the first little bit of the race.
We're hearing Gracie Trotter will have to come to pit road and do a pass-through for changing lanes prior to the start-finish line, as well as the 11 of Richard Garvey. Richard Garvey's 11 laps down. Gracie Trotter was 1 lap down trying to race for that free pass. Unfortunately, she's going to have to make a trip down pit road for a penalty.
And those two were involved in that early race incident, which, by the way, could be one of the Reese's sweet moves of the race. But right now, not so sweet for both of them. They will do a pass-through penalty. So you talk about the teammates and letting one another down and working together up front. That's exactly what we saw at the end of the race in Daytona, and that's exactly why Ty Gibbs was so upset.
Yeah, he was working with Brett Holmes, and he felt like the two Venturini cars got together and they were they felt like they were bump drafting in the center of the corner, which you're not supposed to do. And I know the ARCA officials say, don't make us make a call. You guys police it yourself. Don't make us make a call. Right now we have Ty Gibbs lined up with his quasi-teammate Brett Holmes in 3rd and 4th right now, looking to maybe see a way around the Venturini cars, Kate.
Yeah, well, Phil, as we knew, that was the goal for both Ty and Brett Holmes. But just talking to Shane Huffman during that competition caution, and he said, actually, Ty's car is actually good, but Brett's and Ty's are having a hard time staying together, and that's been the actual issue. But Brett did reiterate on the radio at one point saying, we really need to stick with the number 18. We cannot do it without him. Right now, we'll see if he can get it done here towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it might be a situation where they may need another helper. You know, the Venturini cars are so strong right now. They might need Greg Van Alst right now, who's running in the 5th spot, or somebody else maybe to go with him when they try to open up that outside line. I don't see the Venturini cars coming off the bottom of the racetrack, as we saw a little bit of a bump draft there from Greg Van Alst to Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I think it's going to take more than 2 cars, like you said, to pass the Venturini cars. And if I'm Van Alst right here, you know, we get down to the end of the race and it's like this, you're going to go with whatever has momentum. You know, you're going to go with 3rd and 4th. If they have forward momentum, that's who I'm going with. And that might be what Brett Holmes and Ty Gibbs need.
Greg Van Alst is running 5th. For more, here's Jamie Howe.
And he already said, you mentioned it, Jamie, that he's just out here living a dream. He's not going to get anybody's way, but this was his bucket list. This is the way he spends his free time. And we look back at Daytona and what happened. On lap 28, he was involved in an incident with a ton of damage to that race car. But it's the only car that he has. He has a volunteer group of friends that are all here on pit lane to service the car for him this weekend. It's just a small group of guys. They've been over every single Saturday, every evening that they can get out of their family lives and their work lives to come over and help has been spent rebuilding that car. It's so impressive to see where they're running here today.
One person on the payroll with that team. Such an impressive story. A bunch of friends, racers. He can't be passive. When you have a car that good, you've got to go for it.
Jamie, watch the 20 here. All of a sudden, he pulls into the middle of the racetrack, maybe to try to keep Brett Holmes from going by, but it opened up the bottom and the outside. Both Ty Gibbs in the 18 and Brett Holmes in the 23 went by.
Yeah, got split right there. So I thought he would probably just stay on the bottom, you know, right there, instead of trying to block you know, the 23, and then he gave up the bottom and allowed Ty Gibbs to get under him. So that really didn't work out for him, but he settled in 3rd here. One of the biggest losers was honestly, well, the 23 actually slotted back in. Well, he's
him leading that outside line.
The outside lane, so maybe they can get some momentum. But you know, he made the move to try to get to 2nd. Now he's sitting 4th or 5th. But good news is he has a lot of help behind him.
You know, somebody who's been shuffled back is Nick Sanchez in the 2. We talked a lot about him the first half of this race. Now he's back there in 16th. There's his onboard. Nice view looking ahead, but he's got some work to do.
Looked like Ty got into the left rear quarter panel of Drew Dollar Drew may have opened up the bottom just enough to allow Ty to get there. Looked like they made contact. Now they're 3 wide.
It's getting racy. You wouldn't think there's 26 laps to go in this event. I'd like to see what happened there off of 2. He might have left the bottom open a little bit, Drew Dollar did, and Ty jumped all over it and stuck his nose down in there and got the 15 out of shape.
I don't know about you guys, but Ty Gibbs is about the most aggressive driver on the racetrack that I've seen in a while.
He's aggressive, but he's not doing any moves that are, you know, bad moves. You know, he's just doing a good job with side drafting, getting runs. You know, so he's not out of control. He's being aggressive in all the right ways, which it's got him the lead.
Really caught a good break there. That the lane behind him opened up a little bit, and that allowed Brett Holmes to jump down in there in front of Greg Van Alst. So he has his drafting partner with him now.
And the Venturini cars are split up now. You know, you see Drew Dollar and Heim. They're, you know, got a few cars in between them. So we'll see if they can try to get back together as the 20 car tries to get, you know, top of 3 here to get back to his teammate.
3 wide again. Corey Heim out there by himself. Teammates ahead of him. Ty Gibbs tries to lead this lap, but Drew Dollar on the outside trying to put a stop to it.
I'm not sure the 20 car of Corey Heim isn't have some sort of issue. As I was watching him drive down in turn number 3, that front end was really bouncing on the racetrack, and you see him now moved up out of he's up in the 3rd lane now and losing ground.
Yeah, you know, that's something I noticed about the Venturini cars earlier, especially when even the 15 was leading, and you can really see the splitter, or I'm sorry, the valence on his car, kind of going into 3. There's a tunnel back there, entrance to 3. You'll see it right here. Right there where the pavement's different, and it gets rough. So I don't know. I wonder what their travels are like. I've noticed both Venturini cars be really rough over that.
Jamie Howe.
Just listening in on the radios, and the team of Drew Dollar getting really frustrated with Corey Heim, their teammate, not staying in line. They're saying, get on the radio, tell him to stay in line. We can't do anything without him. So they're really looking for that teamwork. That's one thing that Drew talked about. He said every other season we've had an elder statesman. Michael Self was that guy for so long. He told all the drivers what we needed to do. They don't have that anymore. So they're really looking as an organization to regroup with the younger crop of drivers.
It's always an adventure when you have to go by a lap car, when you're trying to run side by side and side drafting and then going by a lap car as well.
Yeah, it always gets tight in those situations. You hope that person kind of lets you get in there, but they all worked out.
Ty Gibbs leading his first laps at a super speedway race. We'll be back. Tomorrow on FS1, the best anglers in the world tackle freshwater's hardest fighter. It's the Bassmaster Elite Series, live from Lake Fork. It's tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Well, each year, General Tire sponsors the Super Speedway Challenge. Phil?
Yeah, what this is the racetracks that are over a mile and a quarter at length, and it's a point system within a point system. And this goes to the car owner, so you can have different drivers and still win this championship. General Tire's done this for a number of years, and you can see right now this is our leaderboard for the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge. Billy Venturini is the listed owner of the number 20, and his dad Bill is the listed owner of the 15, and they're separated by 1 point.
Nice little battle within a battle within the family there. I like it. Well, you guys have talked about the 20 of Corey Heim. He was 3 wide. We thought maybe something was wrong.
But he's going to pull to the outside. That's going to be him leading that 3rd lane. And this is where you cross the racetrack. Ryan was talking about this. It's a little bit rough. Watch that car start bouncing. All the cars are bouncing a little bit, but it continues to bounce when they get back to the smoother part of the racetrack. I think he's having some sort of an issue. And I know we reported that Drew Dollar was unhappy that he wasn't able to stay with him. I'm not sure he's able to stay with him. I'm not sure that car is driving well enough to stay up front right now.
That's a good point. You know, that crossover tunnel, gate, whatever you want to call it, it's rough. It's not that rough. It shouldn't be that rough, and you can even tell from the cars around him they weren't bouncing that much or continuing to bounce or bounce as high. So I'd be curious to see. It looks like he's kind of figured it out and regrouped himself as we have a battle for the lead.
Kate Osborne told us there was damage, a little bit of damage on the 20 when he got into Drew Dollar in the 15, who's wasting no time. But meanwhile, Brett Holmes to the point once again.
I thought they had an alliance worked out. It shows you all that can go out the window real quick at these places.
But let's give a call to Derek Lancaster in that 29 car. You see him up there battling with these guys. He's now the leading car on the outside, really doing a super job without that much experience. Maybe half a dozen races. Ooh, as they go around Benny Chastain, the lap car. Brett Holmes went to the bottom. Oh,
Drew Dollar in the middle. Contact. How did they save that?
Really, Nick Sanchez did a great job. It's always an adventure when you try to go around the lap car.
Yeah, you know, we just talked about that before the break. It's an adventure going around lap cars because you're already too wide. And that lap car probably should have picked the lane, probably should have picked the very top and let that pack go by. He was kind of weaving in and out. So very good thing and heads-up driving by everybody to save the car and not cause a big wreck right there.
183-mile-per-hour chess match. And look who's leading this race, Phil.
Derek Lancaster. He has Brett Holmes lined up behind him. Greg Van Alst leading that outside line right now, battling Brett Holmes for the second spot.
Derek Lancaster, the 48-year-old out of Christiansburg, Virginia.
That looked like he moved up the race. Oh.
Wreck at the front, 35. Greg Van Alst goes sideways.
Ty Gibbs also involved. That's Ty Gibbs inside of the racetrack with a lot of damage.
You know, you could just kind of sense it was getting down to go time. You know, we were 15 laps to go. Racing was starting to get pretty intense, and I'd like to go see the replay of that one and really figure out who slipped. I think it's just a matter of pushing, side drafting, and that's just what you get when you come to these places where you have to be aggressive like that.
Saw the 44 at John Ferrier caught up in that as well.
Looked like somebody ran into Greg Van Alst, I thought, and he made contact with Ty Gibbs. You see all the damage to that 18 car. There's Greg Van Alst right there.
See the CB Fabricating Chevrolet. He owns a fence company up in Indiana. So let's take a look when things were starting to get a little rough out there.
See Benny Chastain, he actually moves up the racetrack. Drew Dollar moved up to avoid him. That's when he made contact with the two of Nick Sanchez.
Yeah, everyone did a great job of avoiding that. You know, and as like I said, as a lap car, it's hard to traverse, but you know, you got to pick a lane and stay there. You know, that lead pack will get around you, but the best move is just go to the wall. You know, go to the fence and stay up there and hold your line. It's a great job by everybody for saving their cars.
Nick Sanchez.
Unfortunately, a lap later, it all went haywire.
So this is the start of the wreck.
Looked like Nick Sanchez, the two car, got into the back of the 35. We talk about at the very top of the show about the bump drafting. Sometimes it doesn't work, and I think that's a situation where that bump draft turned Greg Van Alst sideways into Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened in it. And it looked like Nick Sanchez hit him a little bit on the left rear, kind of on the left side of the bumper. And when you're in the trial like that, your car's already light. And so when he got a shot in the left rear, left side of the bumper, that really just, gosh, your car is already kind of a handful, and it just really helped him around. And unfortunately, Ty Gibbs was there, and a couple others got involved.
And the rear of the car really gets light through the tri-oval there as well, maybe even more so than the corners.
Here's Nick Sanchez, his on board. What exactly happened right there? Left rear quarter panel just spun Greg Van Alst.
In all fairness, Greg may have come off the throttle just a tick, because it looked like Nick Sanchez all of a sudden gained that ground enough to get up to his rear bumper.
Yeah, you know, and that's just such a tough spot to be in. Everyone's pushing really hard to try to get all the spots you can. You know, I don't think you can really put a blame on anybody for that one. Just people trying hard to get as much momentum as you can. You hate that for the 35 car because he was running so good all day and up towards the front. We just talked about, you know, his story, what he does during the week, and come out here on the weekends. And but the good thing, everyone's safe.
Let's listen to Nick Sanchez's radio here.
Nick, what part of not pushing these guys in the tri-oval do you not understand? Trying to stay out of as much as I can. I understand that, but you cannot do it in the tri-oval. You can't do it at the worst possible place. You got to be smart about things.
And that is Tyler Green, his spotter. Tyler usually spotting for Kurt Busch, so he knows a thing or two about getting around this place. We'll clean this all up. We have 13 laps to go at Talladega Superspeedway. Tomorrow on Fox, the NASCAR Cup Series is here in Talladega Superspeedway for the Geico 500. Race day coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern on FS1, then continues at 1:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And I believe I will be interviewing Ryan Blaney pre-race. We have some great upcoming races in the ARCA Menards series. Let's take a look at what's coming up next. Guys, there's no downtime. We are racing again next weekend at Kansas Speedway. Of course, highlighted in yellow, those are races you'll see right here on FS1. We'll go to Charlotte, Mid-Ohio. We'll do a little road course action. Pocono, and then Watkins Glen, and we'll round out our part of the season at Bristol Motor Speedway. Well, we are currently under our third caution of the day. This is why.
See, Nick Sanchez gets into the back of Greg Van Alst. Turns him to the inside of the racetrack, right in the path of the 18 of Ty Gibbs. We're really fortunate that not any more cars than were involved than were. John Ferrier, the 44 car, also got a piece of it.
Yeah, you know, we talk about pushing and doing it at the right spot, you know, and mainly on the backstretch. Obviously, you got the kind of the backstretch before the tri-oval. Tri-oval itself is just pretty sketchy to do that, and that's what can happen.
Let's see if we can talk to our leader, Brett Holmes. Hey, Brett Holmes, Phil Parsons, Ryan Blaney, Jamie Little in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Sir, I got you.
Well, buddy, you've done an awesome job here. Just 11 laps to go, but you lost your drafting partner, Ty Gibbs. You got anybody else lined up to help you?
Yeah, I hate to see that, but man, we're going to use anybody. You know, whoever's willing to get to the front and wants to be aggressive, that's going to be our partner. So anybody. We've had a lot of chances to get in the wreck today, but we've been real aggressive, and it's got us to this point. So just very thankful for Golden Eagle and Southern States Bank, all my guys. They gave me a hell of a car today, and to get us here, it's a dream come true.
Well, Brett, if I forgot that you were racing here when I was on my way to the racetrack this morning, I saw a huge billboard on I-20 congratulating you on your championship and wishing you good luck today. How about that?
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
That was so cool to see that billboard. I'm like, look at that. The local boy does good. Let's get to know Brett Holmes, our defending series champion.
Right across the street, the Talladega short track. That victory lane shot was.
His dad, Stacy, a legend around these parts, raising that big trophy. Attended Auburn University, has a couple weeks left of school.
Just about to graduate with a degree in construction management.
Let's take a look at that billboard. There it is.
How about that?
Mumford, Alabama's own. That's pretty neat.
I saw that coming in when I was driving here today. I was like, wow, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, he's not the defending champion because he is part-time this year. But yes, he won that championship, getting that one win last year. So it'd be huge for him to win here.
He's our reigning champion.
Reigning champ.
That's right.
It would be huge for him to take home the win in his hometown. Let's check in on the radio.
Dude, bad save in the trial. Thank you. Had a few of them. We should have wrecked. Like, that was really, really nice. Dude, very impressive. Fairly proud of you. Thank you, guys.
That was Billy Venturini, the car owner, telling him nice save.
That'll always make you feel good, right? You got the car owner on there telling you nice save.
And that's his crew chief this year. He said they have a great relationship, and he feels like he really is a different driver than he was at this race a year ago. And you could see that, just how aggressive but smart today. Here's that save they were talking about. Riding on board with Drew Dollar.
Yeah, he's going to have to make a last-second move here when Benny Chastain drifted up in his lane. Really nice job by Drew, as well as Nick Sanchez, to keep both those cars straight.
I believe that will qualify for Reese's sweetest move
Without
of the
a doubt.
race. One of them, at least.
Yeah, we've been trying to figure out what that's going to be, and that's a candidate for sure.
We have 10 laps to go, too, so we have a lot of room for some more sweet moves.
Here's Nick Sanchez on board. He had two great saves. They are cleaning up turn one right now. We report that we have some oil on the track. And they will bring him to a halt.
Yeah, I love this too. Instead of just running out these laps while they're cleaning up the racetrack and robbing the fans and the viewers of some green flag racing, they're going to just stop these guys and go ahead and fix the corner up.
Well, NASCAR in the ARCA Menards series lost a good one on Friday. Charlie Glotzbach passed away at his home in Indiana. He was an 8-time winner in the ARCA series, including 3 times here. We remember Charlie today.
Kevin Burkhardt here in Los Angeles with my guys, Hall of Famer Frank Thomas, EK, Eric Carroll. It's got a lot of baseball coming your way right after racing. An hour pregame taking you up to the Mets and the Nationals. A lot of baseball coming your way. See you in a few.
The super speedway races stress out even the most seasoned race car drivers. What was it like when you strapped in for Daytona?
I literally did not draft in a pack really until the race.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know what this car is about to do. It's on TV, and I just didn't want to be the person to cause the big one. But once you're in the race car, I feel like the nerves just kind of go away. Once the engine turns on, it's just kind of like you get focused.
And that is Tony Breidinger. Happy to see her in the field, working her way up. She's in 15th right now, and she's been on a media whirlwind. She's gained a lot of attention for being the first Arab-American woman to race in a NASCAR-sanctioned event. She was on Ellen last week. She's been in the newspapers and magazines, so she's carrying it all well.
Yeah, very accomplished, too. She's the winningest female ever in the USAC open-wheel divisions.
Yeah, she's on the lead lap. You know, she's doing a good job, sitting in 15th right now.
Good shot at the top 10, I would say.
Yeah.
Just 21 years old from San Francisco. Yeah, car looks great. She has some new sponsors she's bringing into the sport. She'll race 9 times. All right, well, Ty Gibbs was caught up in that last incident. He's standing by now with Kate Osborne.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs coming into Talladega. It was 2 wins out of 5 races today. That is not the case. Ty, what did you see in that accident?
Yeah, you know, didn't really see too much. Just kind of frustrated with what happened. But you know, in some ways, it's hard to control stuff. But I feel like we just got wrecked there, and not much you can do. This is a lot of people are trying to get experience, and somebody just made a mistake. But you know, we'll move on. This is the days that are gonna make me better. Learning how to handle this stuff, and you know, I want to win. I feel like worse than a lot of people out here. So I'm gonna go back and we'll go racing next week in Kansas, which will be at the last.
Yeah, and then as you were standing here, your grandpa Joe Gibbs came by to have a little powwow with you. Is that part of the learning process, and what did he advise you?
No, we were just talking about when we're gonna go play golf. We'll see where we're gonna go play, and I'm excited. We're having a good time out here, just learning. Not about the race car, about myself and it's character building day, and you know, I can't take the world above me, and we'll go race next week at Kansas.
You know, it might have been a disappointing day for Ty Gibbs, but you could see when he was talking to his grandpa, he was smiling underneath that mask.
Thank you, Kate. Well done by Ty. He's come a long way in just a couple of months, you know, and how he's carrying himself and speaking through adversity.
Yeah, you have to take the good with the bad, and that's certainly a learning experience for all of us.
Yep.
And he did a great job. Did a great job today on the racetrack, too, as well.
Well, he talked about it being a character-building day. And when you win, it's easy to be nice and thankful, but when you lose, that's when you're really tested, and he did a really nice job with it. Well, the impact of the pandemic on youth sports has been significant, and while recovery has started in some communities, kids most in need are still on the sidelines. Visit goodsports.org to learn how you can help Fox Sports and Good Sports restore play for at-risk youth and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Love to hear about that, as we know a lot of kids have been in need. Kate.
Yeah, down here with Greg Van Elst, who's just coming out of the medical center. He is cleared. He just described it as a pretty good day. To me, coming out of a medical center, I don't know why that would be. Why was that, Greg?
Well, anytime you're a small team like us and you're fighting for the lead, it's got to be a good day. I mean, our CB fabricating car, you know, we wrecked in Daytona. We put it together in our little 3-car shop in the backyard. And we were out here racing for the lead at Talladega. I mean, I'm disappointed that we didn't get to finish, but, you know, we got lots of TV time, and everybody knew we were here.
You went over to Ty and had a little conversation conversation there as well. What did you talk to him about?
Well, I just asked him if he was okay and if he's seen what happened, because, I mean, there was nothing out my windshield, and I felt like I was holding a straight wheel, and next thing I knew, I was sideways. So, you know, I guess that's part of restrictor plate racing, and I'll have to watch the replay later.
Yeah, well, congratulations on your run out here in Talladega. I know that was a big deal for you, and we'll see you here at the next one, Jamie.
Thank you. Well done, Greg Van Alst. Really good story. Hate to see it ended early for him, but well done to all of his buddies putting that car back together and what they were able to do today.
And he's going to feel better when he sees the video and saw that he had a little bit of help when he got turned sideways. He wasn't sure at that point whether he just turned sideways or whether he got a bit of a push. So he'll feel better when he sees the video.
Well, they are fired back up, and we are about to get back to action. As the laps continue to count down, Ryan, we're getting close to that go time.
Yes, we are. We got some new players. You know, we have Derek Lancaster. We also have Jack Wood sitting in fourth. So there's a couple new guys that are up there right now who haven't really been in the top 5 all day. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of run they can put together. And also, I'm going to be watching the 2 Venturini cars trying to get hooked up and get their way back to the front as well. We saw how fast they were earlier and what speed they had in their cars.
I wonder if they have maybe thoughts of jumping up to the 3rd lane and see if they can get some momentum going in the 3rd lane. They're starting side by side right now in row 3.
Jack Wood in the 21 for GMS Racing. Just made the move to Charlotte about 3 or 4 months ago. He's from the Sacramento, California area, living his dream, doing a nice job, finished 9th at Daytona.
Chad Bryant calling shots. Chad's a former championship crew chief here with Chase Briscoe a few years ago. A lot of experience calling the shots for Jack Wood.
I worked with Chad at Cunningham for a little bit.
That's right,
He's
yeah.
a good crew chief. Really good to see him have a good run.
Let's listen to Nick Sanchez's radio. See if it's working this time.
I sure hope so. Coming to 7 laps to go.
Long ways down here. Just be ready for it. It takes off. 10 away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Green flag. It's a 29 outside. 21 halfback behind. Your help one back to the 20. Still outside. Get back to the 23 here. Still outside tight. Nice and smooth on your wheel. 20 tight with you. 20 still tight with you. Stop is clear. We'll stay bottom here for now. Stay bottom here for now. Stay right there at the 23. Nice and smooth here on the bottom. 29 half back up top. No help on the top lane. Top now has help. 29 2 back with help. We'll stay bottom here for now. 29 2 back. Half. In line with you. In line with you. Outside now, outside tight. Venturini cars in line with you on the bottom. Stay bottom here. Don't get off the bottom. There you go. Venturini's going to help push you back up to the 23.
Tyler Green.
I mean, Tyler does a great job. You know, he's a great spotter. I've known him for a long time. He's really teaching Nick a good job right here. And yeah, he knows the Venturini cars are fast, and the yellow line can be your best friend. And also, it's great too because for him, Venturini cars, they can't go anywhere. They're stuck on the bottom. You know, the outside lane is right there. So the 2 is in a really good spot. It's just a matter of what energy comes from which lane at what time and how aggressive you want to be. We're coming back to 5 laps to go. So I think the aggression is really going to step up here as far as you're going to see big pushes and big runs coming.
I think if the Venturini cars would clear Derek Lancaster, I think they would jump to the top and try to go around the outside. So the best thing right now for Nick Sanchez is for Derek Lancaster to stay side by side with those Venturini cars.
When you're in a hornet's nest like this, I listened to Tyler Green. He was so calm in talking his driver through. Even a moment that he almost had in that 2 car for Nick Sanchez, his spotter was so calm, talking him through everything.
I think the Venturini cars would be better with the 15 of Drew Dollar in front of the 20, because I don't think the 20, even though he's doing a great job battling for the 3rd spot, I don't think his car is as good as it was early in the race. He's got a good pusher now with Drew Dollar, his teammate. Watch this bump right here.
Oh.
Derek Lancaster in the 29 in the wall, in flames. He was just on the outside of Corey Heim, and Drew Dollar came through. He's got to get out of that race car.
that down in the grass, turned it sideways, and still on fire, though.
We were just talking about what a great job he had been doing in that 29 car. They'll release that window net. That is the sign to everyone watching. The AMR, American Medical Response, is on board now with the ARCA Menards series that are companion races. They also do an incredible job in all the series of NASCAR to get to those drivers. Shane Huffman, the crew chief, for our leader Brett Holmes, watching on.
I think he got out. That's a good sign.
Yeah, it looks like he's laying on the ground. The AMR safety guy's right there with him.
Well, AMR does a good job of of getting to an accident right away. It's been really good for them to join NASCAR a handful of years ago. They have great people, that work around the racetrack or in the infield care center, and hopefully they can, help him out what he needs, because that's a scary situation. You're in there in a ball of fire and you're trying to get out, and hopefully that they can go fix him up here.
So Derek Lancaster is out of the car. They are tending to him now, going to bring the cars to a stop on the back stretch. So let's take a look back at what led to this contact with Derek Lancaster. So this is what led to that.
See, Derek Lancaster was on the outside. These cars are well behind Derek Lancaster. Derek was leading that outside line here.
There's contact. Corey Hyman, the 20 on the bottom side. 29 of Lancaster on the outside.
Let's see if the 46 of Thad Moffitt maybe gets up here to give him a push, because it looked like
I think what happened was the 15 gave the 20 a good shove. Oh, there it was. So the 15 came to give the 20 a good push, and he was a little bit to the right of the 20, and maybe got tied off two, and he and Lancaster just kind of came together, and it got Lancaster loose, and then it shot him to the right.
Yeah. So there's Lancaster front right. This is looking out of Drew Dollar's car.
It almost looked like Corey Heim made contact with Derek Lancaster from that angle as Drew Dollar was pushing Corey Heim.
Almost like the 20, the rear end got light and swapped out a little bit and collected the 29. That was a big shot to the outside wall. You see his hand moving there. Derek Lancaster standing up, walking with the medical crew.
He was telling us in Daytona that he had an accident, I think it was at Kingsport, Tennessee last year, and he actually broke his neck and fully recovered from that.
And he came back just a couple months later. He said, nothing's going to stop me from racing. So as they continue to work on Derek Lancaster,
what a great
field
job he was doing today, too. Really was solid in the entire race.
He was. Well, we are under red right now. We have 4 laps to go. We will be back. We'll lift the red. Check on Derek Lancaster one more time, and we will finish this General Tire 200. Well, we've certainly seen some moves in this race, and here are our 3 sweet moves of the race. Thanks to Reese's. To vote on which moment is the sweetest, let's head to the ARCA_Racing's Twitter page at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. So here they are.
That was Brett Holmes and Ty Gibbs hooking up together to go grab the lead.
Here's another run. Brett Holmes and Ty Gibbs hooked up together, split the 20 car. Good move there by both those drivers.
And Nick Sanchez in the 15 of Drew Dollar. Big save there. I don't know how they kept it straight.
Both still in contention for the win here, running up in the top 4. But how about that guy running 5th right now, Dave Mader III? He won back in 1991 in the ARCA series. I think he was a snowball derby winner in 1978 or something like that. He's been around a while, but what a great guy. Always loved to run these races at Daytona and Talladega and doing a super job.
Yeah, so you can go vote tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Go to ARCA's Twitter handle and vote. Let's go down to pit road with Kate Osborne.
Looking for a little help, and that's exactly what Shane Huffman just said, crew chief at Brett Holmes Racing. Who are you guys leaning on at this point in time?
Right now, we'll lean on you if you want us to. I mean, we're looking for anybody. You know, the two's been a good partner all day as well, but, you know, I think our choice is to take the bottom right here and try to control the race. I just don't see how we can let go of the control of the race right here.
Yeah, earlier Derek Nealand actually was saying, Brett, when we're telling you to do something, listen and do that. How well is Brett doing at that now?
He's doing a lot better now. You know, you know, Brett's smart. He's not going to take an unnecessary chance to, you know, to tear the car up early in the race. And it's obvious that we've got a really good car. So, you know, just got to thank Golden Eagle, Southern States Bank, Chevrolet, everybody involved in this deal for putting us in position here to be able to contend for a win.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening down here at Brett Holmes Racing. They are contending for that win. Jamie, that would be exciting if he took it home here in his hometown.
Well, I'm sure he's thinking about it, but not too much. You don't want to be thinking, oh my gosh, my friends and family, they're all watching in the stands right now, and how amazing it would be. Well, as we continue under this red flag, let's take a look back at how we got here, guys.
A little bit of contact. Gracie Trotter unfortunately gets a tire rub, comes to pit road, and goes a lap down. She's never been able to overcome that. Now she's being shown a couple laps down.
Yeah, you know, we've had a very exciting race. A lot of really hard racing. Like we saw a little bit earlier, a great save by a couple of those cars there.
Here's a big incident with Greg Van Alst getting turned around sideways into Ty Gibbs and the 18 car. See, there's the contact right there. End of the day for both Greg Van Alst in the 35 and Ty Gibbs in the 18.
You know, they took out a couple really fast cars, too. You know, those guys are really fast all day up towards the front. Both of those cars. And speaking of good cars getting taken out, the 29 car, really hard shot. Happy he was able to get at it, especially after it was on fire. But a shame to end the day like that for Derek Lancaster.
Derek Lancaster led one lap, the 48-year-old out of Virginia. Hate to see that happen, but the good news is we saw him get out, we saw him stand up, and the American Medical Response Team is tending to him. There's the spotters, the best seat in the house, or the scariest. You're trying to clear guys, and they're a mile away.
They're almost as busy as the drivers right now.
Yeah, so if you actually look up at the spotter stand, if you catch it on TV, when we were going down the backstretch, they actually are looking through binoculars. Just to really see inches, you know, because you're so far away from the backstretch from where they stand on the front stretch that you can't really tell too much. So every one of those guys are wearing or using binoculars, we're on the backstretch and talking at the same time in a button to us. So it's a very special skill to be a spotter, and those guys do a very good job at it, all of them.
All about trust. You've got to trust that voice inside your head.
You do. You really do. And that's important to find somebody who, you know, you have good communication with, you understand each other. And, you know, I've been lucky. I worked with Josh Williams for 5 years now, and it takes a little bit of that time he kind of knows my tendencies on how I do things, not even at speedways, but everywhere else. And I know his tendencies on how he spots and kind of the gaps that he's comfortable with. So those things you just build up over time. And it's been good to have some success with Josh, especially at the speedway stuff, because it's so, you're such a team here, you know, because you're kind of moving in one as a spotter driver, and it's been really cool to have some success here with Josh.
Look at the little guy. Well, Davey Allison fan, Earnhardt fan. Glad to see all of our fans out here enjoying the action. Well, we'll have 4 laps to go when we come back to the General Tire 200 from Talladega. MLB on FS1 pregame will come up right after we conclude our race. Just a couple laps to go. They are rolling. Meanwhile, it is a beautiful day to play a little sandbags, cornhole, whatever you want to call it.
You wouldn't think it'd be such a nice day. People be outside playing cornhole from how the day started, did you?
Oh my gosh, 90% chance for rain all day. And we came up on time.
Yeah.
Hey, tip of the hat to all of our track workers.
For sure. Absolutely.
They were out there drying this. Typically, this track takes about 3 hours to dry, but we got a little bit of wind, a little bit of sunshine, and they had it ready to go.
All right, who's y'all's picks? Got a green light checker to come, and who do you guys like so far?
All right.
We're going to get one to go next time by.
All right.
And then we will have a one-lap shootout. They will get the green and the white flag at the same time and have one lap to decide it.
Puppies getting in on the action in the infield. A lot of campers out there this weekend.
Good to see, too, people back at the racetrack.
So since it's a green and white at the same time, right, you're not going to get up to full speed. You know, it usually takes about a lap to kind of form every lane and get up speed. So it's going to be tough. You know, I think for like a second lane to build, but it's just who is committed, you know, who's going to be committed to whoever's back bumper and pushing the hardest and the straightest. And I'm curious to see here. I like the position Brett Holmes is in, but you never know if the Ventrini, the 20 and the 15 can find each other, because you know how fast they are. They might be able to get up there.
And they're going to be starting side by side in row number 2.
That's the tough part, right? They're going to be side by side.
Yeah.
They're not lined up. So, and they don't have multiple laps to get lined up. So it'll be interesting to see. They maybe just be going by themselves on this one.
Let's get an update on the 15 with Jamie Howe.
We saw Drew Dollar lead a lot of this race. The word on the radio to him right now is push. He said you're going to have to push harder than you've ever done before. Just hope you get a little bit of help.
Got to come up with those game plans quick. You get one shot at it here. 2.66 miles to be exact.
The spotter chatter will be loud and often.
Tony Breidinger, the Huda Beauty, on board there.
Up another position to 14th. Doing a really nice job.
Tightening those belts one last time.
There are the spotters right there getting ready.
Well, you're constantly tugging on your belts, and especially here. Every one to go, you're tugging on them again and just making sure that you're ready to go and fire up the end of this thing.
Flag woman there, Denise Engel. The calm before the storm of the finale of this race. Yes, we're just getting you warmed up here with the ARCA Menards series. We have Xfinity series action coming up later on Fox. Hope you tune in. Obviously, it is a beautiful day.
Speaking of Xfinity and their broadcast coming up, Joey Logano's going to be on the broadcast.
Yes, Tyler Reddick too.
Yeah, and Logano just stormed into my booth. So
stormed into your booth.
He's coming in to watch, you know, somebody who's a professional at broadcasting, you know, just take some notes. Hopefully he can use them.
Ryan, you know as well as I do, Joey wins at everything. Joey has to be the first in his car, first on track, first to the booth.
Oh, yeah. Try being teammates with him. Appearances, everything.
There's a couple guys over there in that booth that know how to get it done at this race.
Yes, no kidding. You're that good. That's what they say. They could see the air. Just know what it takes.
Such an important restart here.
Brett Holmes, local driver, told me his house is about 10 minutes from this racetrack. Grew up coming here, watching races. He's actually camping here. He's hanging out for the race later today, tomorrow's Cup race. How cool it would be to get to hang out with a trophy next to you.
Be a heck of a party in the infield tonight for them.
And Nick Sanchez in the 2, you guys. This is Rev Racing, NASCAR Drive for Diversity program working right here. Nick Sanchez has done a nice job. Couple of huge saves today.
The big thing is the initial jump. You know, Holmes is controlling the restart. So and it's who's going to be 3rd and 4th, who can stay on that front car's bumper. That's going to be massive.
Green and white flag in the air. That means one lap to go. The next flag will end this race.
All right, you see the 15 of Drew Dollar jump down behind his teammate. That's really what they needed. They needed to have a gap. And if they get into second and third here, I'd be very worried if I was Brett Holmes. I'd got to be worried now because he's way out front, and you see the top starting to build momentum.
Yeah, he's going to try to block both lanes. Not going to be able to get the top. Now he's stuck in the middle.
Now Nick Sanchez to the point. Corey Heim to the outside, the Daytona winner.
Drew Dollar's going to jump up there with his teammate. Venturini cars on the outside.
Nick Sanchez needs a little bit of help.
He's got Dave Mader behind him on the inside. Ooh, trouble. That's behind the pack, though. We should stay green.
It's not over yet. Sanchez has a big run. The start finish line's way down here. Oh, his partner bailed on him.
No help. 63 and Mader, and it's over.
What a great
How did he do it? Corey Heim wins it at Talladega. That's 2 for 2 on super speedway races.
What an amazing job he did, because I'm telling you, I don't think that car was near as good as it was early in the race, and he just drove the wheels off that thing.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the restart worked out between he and Drew Dollar really well, right, to where they were able to get lined up, get a big push down the backstretch. And Brett Holmes was kind of a sitting duck. You know, he got out there pretty far, even in the middle of 1 and 2, trying to get up to speed, and people just come by on both sides. But, you know, bravo to the 20 team. They did a good job. Venturini Motorsports, congrats on the win. That was a very exciting finish, and a lot of lead changes on the last lap for sure.
Corey Heim, right place, the right time, knew exactly what to do. 3rd career win. You guys.
Sweet. Talladega, baby.
Well, and bad news for the competition. We're going back to the place he got his 1st career win at Kansas. Really well done. Well-spoken driver.
How about Dave Mader, the 3rd, finishing 2nd? As Ryan mentioned, the Venturini cars got lined up. They jumped to the outside of Nick Sanchez. Drew Dollar gives him a nice little bump right there, propels him out.
You know, I thought for a second, you know, Heim was too far out front. But what saved them was they were double file. You know, they were double file, and it wasn't until pretty late right there Sanchez breaks free. But by that time, and then Mader bailed on him and really didn't help him out, pushed to the win. He might have had a shot if Mader would have stayed with him. But overall, a really good job by Heim to protect when he needed to, and a good job by you know, Mader as well for coming in 2nd. That's awesome.
Corey Heim, the 18-year-old from Marietta, Georgia, not too far from here. And how about Dave Mader, 65 years old, bringing it home 2nd.
There's Brett Holmes, got stuck in the middle right there. Drew Dollar pulls up to his teammate, gives him a little bit of a push. He has the momentum to pull to the outside of Sanchez, and then gives him a little bump right here. It gets him to clear Sanchez. That's a great illustration of working with your teammate. Drew Dollar certainly had a lot to do with Corey Heim winning that race.
And we saw the same thing at Daytona. Those two worked so well together.
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say 15 different winner in the last 15 Talladega races. That sounds about right, Ryan?
That's right.
Here's our General Tire 200. Here's the results. Corey Heim on top. Dave Mader, what a great story, in 2nd. And Nick Sanchez, full-time driver, going for that championship. Good points day for him, bringing it home 3rd.
Andy Jankowiak with a great 7th place finish. Kyle Seat gets another top 10. Tony Breitinger ends up with a 12th place finish. A nice job by her.
And Gracie Trotter just started out rough for her with that damage early, ends up 2 laps down. We got this whole race in no delays. We are thankful for that. And there is the moment he's been waiting for, carrying that checkered flag around the racetrack for the burnout. Fans in the stands, the drone following him to capture all the action. A lot of applause.
It was announced just a week or so ago that he will make his Truck Series debut also for Kyle Busch Motorsports at Darlington. Going to get his first start at Darlington.
That's a heck of a place to get your first Truck Series start, is Darlington.
No kidding. He's been doing all of the sim work for that team. And as you've seen, Kyle Busch Motorsports is on a tear right now. This is a great shot right here.
Let's see if we can talk to Corey on the radio. Hey, Corey Heim, Phil Parsons, Jamie Little, Ryan Blaney in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Buddy, what a great job. 2 in a row on the super speedways for you, but it looked like towards about the 2/3 mark in that race, it looked like your car was really bouncing. It looked like your car wasn't as good as it was early on. How did you get that thing to victory lane?
I don't know, man. We found ourselves in the perfect spot there at the end. Drew Dollar, man, I can't say enough about him. He's just an awesome teammate. We worked together perfect today and found ourselves getting back there. Thank you so much to Toyota, JBL, and Menards Motorsports.
And they want to do an interview at the start-finish line. Turn that summit around and come on back down here and give these guys what you need to do. Put your face on the TV screen. Talk to Toyota, JBL, and all them guys. Then come on to the start-finish line. You got about a minute left, man. Airtime. That's all you got.
Congratulations. Corey Heim brings it home. He's 2 wins out of 3 on the season. It's been a great day. Later today, though, remember, it's the Xfinity Series race on Fox. And then tomorrow, it's the Cup Series right here. And it, too, is on Fox. We'll be joining you then. Thank you so much for watching today. For Ryan Blaney, Phil Parsons, Jamie Howe, Kate Osborne, and our entire Fox Sports team, I'm Jamie Little. So long from the ARCA Menards Series at Talladega.